Welcome everyone. As we have discussed about different methods which are used for training, that is for your workers level, for the management level, where we have training and development under the two category of on the job and off the job methods. Now, after all such methods being discussed, we need to know that how we can select one method or combination of two methods or multiple methods for any program or any training program. Now, within this, few factors which we can consider. The first is going to be your human factor. Now, human factor will be including the three dimensions. One is going to be the trainer who is providing those skill set, those training related aspects to the individual. The second, the participant, who is the learner, who is receiving all the inputs given by the trainer. And the third is going to be environment within which the person is receiving such kind of training sessions. Now, when we have all these aspects being available, we need to utilize the individual's capacity for better learning and teaching platform. So in that regard, when we look forward for what are the limitations of a trainer, what are the excellence of a trainer to be considered, to be taken into account while deciding about the training method. Another, how participant being motivated, ready to learn, and how much that person is up to the status of his learning about the matter of concern. So that would be considering about the participants human factor, whereas when they interact with each other, being the trainer and participants, being the different employees, when they interact with each other, how that behavioral aspect, how that organizational periphery is going to impact the individual regarding any kind of outcome. Now, the other thing which is being available, that is related to your, we can say that another aspect for selection of training method consisting the objectives. What are the objectives of training being available? That can be considered as KSA, knowledge, skills and abilities. Now, one dimension which can be covered as a part of our training calendar, or we can say your objectives, that is the key performance areas and key result areas. Now, looking forward for key performance areas, that is for each job profile, whenever we are going to conduct any kind of session, whenever we are going to conduct any kind of work. So, in that regard, each job consists certain major performance areas. So, all these performance areas need to be considered while deciding about the selection of training method. So, key performance areas are determined on the basis of the weightage of different job profiles related responsibilities. Now, along with that, when we look forward for key performance area, there is another term which is called key result areas. Now, these key result areas are going to be covered through key result areas are going to be covered through your, we can say, on the basis of different ingredients which are required to achieve the key performance areas. Like taking one example into this regard, if an individual who is performing a work of marketing, that person has got key performance areas maybe the sales. Now, within this sales horizon, if we look forward for key result areas, what thing is being available? The key result areas will be how much sale has been done, how much transaction has been done, how much revenue has been done, how much the person is capable of convincing the people to make this transaction possible. So when we look forward for such kind of things, the person must be provided training in the area of key result areas, like he must be efficient in terms of communicating all the prospects benefits to the individual purchaser so that the sales related transaction takes place. So similarly, the objectives which will be covered under the selection of training method will be consisting the dimension of KSAs, which will be decided on the basis of KRA's related expertise contributing towards the key performance areas. So these are the dimensions when we look forward for objectives for training. Another is the subject area, the which kind of training is going to be provided, what will be the dimension of training, how the training consists different kind of subject disciplines into it. So all these will be depending upon that what training need being identified, and once we have decision about the specifications or interdisciplinary inputs which has to be provided through training, that will be deciding about the training method. Like simple example, if we have to provide any individual training where the person needs to know how actually the person has to operate any machinery, so simulation can be a better technique for that. But again, we have to check that how much cost it is going to incur, how much time it is going to take, because if the same training has to be provided to 50 people, so giving them opportunity individually is going to take time. Similarly, if not possible to give them individual opportunity, can we use the audio-visual aids which will be helpful for them to learn about all those areas? So the specific or interdisciplinary area under which the training has to be provided to individual must be the criteria for selecting the training method. The last, but not we can say least in that regard, time is most important factor with respect to training methods to be selected. As we know that every task has got certain targets being fixed, and when we look forward for objectives to be accomplished, we look forward for the dimension of SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, reliable, we can say relevant, and time bound. So the time bound means that we need to accomplish all the things, responsibilities, outcomes within the given frame of time. So similarly, to achieve the outcome within the given frame of time, we must have all the training sessions controlled through the time duration as well. So we must decide that which particular session, which particular training method is going to accomplish, fulfill the objectives within the specific time allocated to individual. Now, when we look forward for this time duration related aspect, with respect to ISO, an individual being allocated with some amount of hours for their training for each year. Now, company is compelled to conduct their training session for the requisite number of hours which is being decided. So for that particular thing, the company has to prepare the whole schedule how they can provide these training to the individual, and for that, before implementing, they come across with some kind of structure, the schedule. Like we go for the examination, we have a date, we have a time, we have a exam paper related information available. Similarly, we have the information in our schedule which is describing about the topic, that is called basically key result areas under which the training has to be provided, the trainees names, then the date and the person who is going to provide all this training being forecasted, being projected over a period of time, and then it is being abided by, it is being executed by the organization as if they have planned. Now, this schedule which we have discussed right now, which is describing about the time duration, is termed as training calendar. So let's move ahead. So when we look forward for the aspect of once we have decided about the training method, how which method need to be used for providing any specific kind of training, we decide about the design the training related calendar. Now this training calendar is a part of training implementation, but before the things being executed, there is a schedule being created for each training. Now, when we have such things being available for whole year, so that is planned for the whole year with the date and the areas which we can provide it. Here we can simply provide see that for the August month as an example for the year 2015. HR training calendar being decided on Monday, day 3rd, the departmental training will be conducted or being conducted earlier. Then Tuesday, there is other technical areas being done. Wednesday, the customer care day being done. So all these kind of trainings being scheduled. Now, when we look forward for this, we might have indications that some training is being scheduled properly, being conducted, executed properly as per the training calendar, or some training sessions has got certain lacuna against we can say the training calendar which we have decided or we have planned. So there we come across with execution being done or execution being missed, then the things being postponed to some or the other day, and then that is being executed on the other day too. So the training calendar requires a kind of information detailing about KRAs, as we have seen that customer care day is a KRA being available for Ivory 4 the things being done. Similarly, product knowledge related things being done on Tuesday. Core value integrity related things being provided on Tuesday again, but on 11th. So all these are the KRAs under which the training being scheduled and calendar being decided. So this is how once planning is being done, similarly the execution being done. Now once we implement all these training, we have to check whether we are able to achieve the target which we have decided, where means the KRA is being enhanced by the individual, are they able to enhance their areas. So with that regard, when we look forward for the training evaluation takes into play. So this training evaluation is not only going to provide how much the training session is fruitful, but also going to provide inputs related to how the different things can be included, what are the things which is being missed, and how the new training program need to be organized. So the next example here you can see further with respect to training calendar 2019 for March for a company Solab IT services, and within that you can simply identify there are different things being available. So training calendar. Now there comes evaluations. So evaluation will be what? Once the things being executed, then we need to check whether execution being fruitful or not. With respect to that, training evaluation methods are available, within which the first method is called pre-post performance. That is, before the training being provided to any individual, a test being conducted. The training being provided, the person being provided with content, and then thereafter they are further being evaluated through a test that is called post test. Now in both the tests, what is the difference between the score, whether the person has scored something better in the dimension where that person was lacking before the training. This will be giving us the outcome related to training and development related contribution. And once there is some contribution made, there is still certain lacunas, all these things will be reaching back to the training need identification. Means a similar training need to be provided or some gap related training need to be provided should be scheduled in the training calendar, whereas this will also provide us how much successful we were with respect to the training we have already executed in the organization. Another method when we look forward for, that is called experimental control group method. Like we have Hawthorne studies being available, where we have two groups being available. One is called experimental group, second is called the control group. So here similar things being available, that training being provided to the one group and the other group being not provided with the training. Then that post the group which is being provided with training, the group which is not provided with training being evaluated, cross-evaluated with each other, and on the basis of that we can identify how much fruitful was the training session for the individuals. As a group being provided with the training, the other is not provided with the training. In this particular method, the group who has been provided with the kind of training is considered as experimental group, and the group which is not provided with any kind of training is called control group. As we can see the statement that control group consisting work on the job but do not undergo any instructions, means no training being available. Experimental group where we come across the instruction to the individuals. So this is the